Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to ZIFT 2021, the festival. We have just screened Chapungu Chehondo by Zimbabwe. Thank you. So I'm going to invite the directors up front with me so that they can easily answer the questions. A round of applause. Yeah, sure, you can sit. As they come up front, what did you think of the documentary that was done from the audience? Anyone with any comments? Sure.
Well, I'm really impressed with the documentary. It's a very interesting story that I had no idea that such things happened during the liberation struggle. And I'm wondering, why don't we know about these stories? Because the issue of the liberation struggle is not about ZANU-PF, it's not about any other political party, but it's about Zimbabwe. And I was like, wow, this is an interesting story. For me, the guy was like any other film that we watch and we see a superhero. And yeah, it was interesting that there's so many things that he did alone. As much as he was wrong in that context, but he really made a difference because then he inspired the young children at the kids at Chegato to get into the liberation struggle. And that was positive influence. So I'm really impressed. And my question to the directors is, when are you making the film? Because I would like to watch a film, not a documentary. Yeah.
Is already a good research for the fiction filmmaker. So you could use this documentary to ride on and make a fiction film. Thank you.
All right, any other questions from the audience or comments?
Sorry, I didn't see at the end of the film when this documentary was made.
It's completed in 2020.
Oh, it was. Okay.
But it starts in 2019 because when you are making these films, then you have to spend some time looking for these participants. They are now scattered all over. You may find one of the participants. These are real life participants, by the way. One you may find in Berengwa, another one you find in Gweru, and yet another one you find in Harare. So it takes a bit of time. Thank you.
Firstly, I want to congratulate the Zimbabwe Heritage Trust team. It's an excellent documentary in a number of ways. Firstly, it captures the ethos of the liberation struggle, which is very, very important. If you look at comments, especially from the West about the liberation struggle, they do underplay the ethos of the liberation struggle. The liberation struggle had very strict rules. And for it to have succeeded and to have been so popular among the people, it is because of that ethos of the rules that the freedom fighters had to observe. that this was an honorable struggle which respected people as they are. So it's a very, very important contribution from Zimbabwe Heritage Trust. I also want to ask the directors to comment on something. Holding rallies with students in broad daylight and holding rallies with students in their dormitories. Can you comment, especially the former combatants, whether that was within your rules and regulations? Thank you.
Hello, thank you. Like in the struggle, we had rules and regulations. And once you broke the rules, you are offside. One of the rules, cardinal rules in the struggle was you move as a unit. You don't operate alone. Under whatever circumstances, you are not allowed to operate alone. And this guy, because of his misdemeanors, he took upon himself to operate alone. But of course, he has sympathies from the powerful because he was a lone operator. But in revolutionary parlance, we call him a rogue element. It was never allowed, and unfortunately, in most cases, the fate that he made is always the usual fate that you always meet. But in fact, here, the other comrades, like Comrade Dust, who was operating with him, they were lucky. Because in most cases, once a guy operates alone like this, you'll be endangering the lives of these other guys. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We have a question from up there.
Not necessarily a question as such, but just to give some sentiments. First and foremost, I would like to thank the Zimbabwe Heritage Trust for coming up with this kind of content, especially in the face of asymmetric warfare in Zimbabwe. You are actually digging the past to build the future. Now, my worry is the content that you have actually composed from the past. I think I've heard about 3 or 4 of them, namely 1 and 2, the Battle of Mavonde, Living Legends, and I think this one is the 4th one, if I'm not mistaken. This content is never shown in our televisions. And they are occasionally there when something happens. For example, some have never seen this Zana come to town, and they only saw it when Comrade Parents died, and that was it. So you are in the media fraternity. You are doing a very wonderful job. You have got a role to change the mindset of these people who actually have another perception as regards to the liberation struggle. Why can't we material? Once you finish, like what you have done here, you will never see it on ZBC, other than for that matter. Yet we have got this content which actually should shape the future of Zimbabwe. Because there are no ways you can shape the future of Zimbabwe other than changing the mindset today. And the only way to change that mindset is to actually inculcate a sense of belonging and patriotism, and that is it actually hinges on the armed struggle, the liberation struggle history. The commitment, the dedication you made should be known by these generations so that they can actually emulate what you actually fought for. But my worry now is, artists kuzvoona pa TV. It's not that zvokutozvitsvaga because tinenge tichizvida. But it must, kana zvichiiswa kumutemo ngazviwe kumutemo, kuti you must have a specific station to actually exhibit this. if ever we are going to actually build the future of Zimbabwe hinging on the armed struggle, because there are no ways we can commit ourselves to national interests if we undermine the commitment which we made. So we can do as many of them, but are they known by the populace which is supposed to know it, so that they can defend Zimbabwe, which actually men of selfless individuals spilled their blood? You are going away, but as you go away, what are you leaving behind? And this is the idea which you have brought up. It's a very good idea, but is this information known? Cannot comrades? Maybe but what about the rest? So that's my submission. I'm actually longing to see a change as regards to this issue, where izvinhu zvedu hazvitomboiswa pa-TV kana kuma-radio zvechimburenga zvacho, kunongoiswa hameno zvemajakara zvako mazuva ano izvi, chinoramba chingodzokora but zvisina kana meaning. That's my submission. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any question?
Thank you. Mubvunzo wangu kuma directors nema comrades wangari kuchimburenga kuti taona pafilimu apa kuti Chapungu nzvimbo dzaakaopareta nekusvika paakauraiwa neku display kwakaita kuti vanhu vaone, asi hatina kuzoziva kuti paakavigwa pacho ndepapi, sezvo ari munhu akafira musango musha kwake asingakuzivi. Ndatenda.
Thank you.
From our research, what we know is that the Rhodesian forces took him with them. Wunganai. Thank you. So we don't know what happened.
All right. Thank you very much. Any more questions?
Okay. Inene, I have two things. One is almost similar to what this guy had been asking about. I want to know, Kuti, what then are the distribution channels of ma films anengaitwa ne heritage, besides such film festivals like this one? Where else do we find ma films a heritage? That's number one. Number two, I would also like to know within the panel, Kuti, who is who? I only know Mkoma Ashwin Sekeretu from a long time ago, but I would also love to know who is it that has done this marvelous piece of work.
All right. Thank you for your question.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Indonesian retired Brigadier General Victor Tapiwa Chashungani. During the armed struggle, Ndindainzi Comrade Victor Chikudo, Southern Front, Gaza.
Sorry, I'm breaching my protocol a bit, but I'll speak. My name is Ashwin Sikireta. I'm the producer and the director of the film. I'm also a researcher on the production.
Southern Front. Zimbabwe Heritage Trust, Dini acting CEO. Apart from that, I'm also a researcher, documentaries iwaya. I'm also an interviewer, researches iwaya. Attend.
Thank you. Indinonzi Peter Chitoro Gumbochuma. I'm one of the students angari pachegato panyaya Chapungu. I'm one of the guys aka-inspire na Chapungu pakafa ndikazojoina attend.
Thank you. Mini sarangu nonzi Charles Mkudu. They operate ku Gaza, Southern Front. Na iwa na Comrade Chapungu. zvekuti incident yacho yakaitika iyoyo kubuda kwavakaita muruzhinji matanga tinawo tatiri pamwe chete. Zvekuti zvapo ndoda kupawo kutenda kukuru chaizvo kune area yekumberengwa ikoko.
Thank you. I'm Natsai Ungwe. I was a student at Chehondo Secondary School, and I also come from Berengwa. Thank you.
I'm Edgar Mwandiambira. I'm the director of photography. I'm also a researcher. I was also the assistant director on this production. Thank you.
My name is Constance Pamela Makaza. I am the video editor at the documentary.
So far, the platform that we have had is this festival. We have also showcased it on national television, this particular installment and other installments before it. We are to see if we can find any distributors who are interested in African historical content to do with liberation struggles.